What you believe is good for the brain may actually be the very thing silently pushing you toward the risk of a stroke while you sleep. It sounds unbelievable, but this reality has been witnessed far too many times in neurological emergency rooms. Picture this: a peaceful evening. You're sitting in your familiar armchair, reading glasses resting on your nose. Your grandchild snuggles beside you, eyes wide, waiting for each page of the bedtime story. Your voice flows steady, warm, comforting. Then suddenly, your words choke. Your mouth tries to form a sound, but nothing comes out. The hand holding the book drops heavily, limp, refusing to rise. Your grandchild stares in confusion, while you sit frozen in helpless panic. This scene isn't from a tragic movie. It's a reality neurologists have seen countless times, even in older adults who seemed cautious, healthy, disciplined in their diet and lifestyle. And then the big question emerges: why does this still happen? Sometimes it's the very vegetables or foods labeled as good for the brain that become a double-edged sword when they enter a body already changed by age. Or it may be the daily pills you take to manage blood pressure, cholesterol, or blood sugar that unknowingly cause side effects disrupting brain function. And often, even a sudden healthy shift in diet throws the body off balance overnight. The danger grows at night. Blood pressure can drop unexpectedly, hormones fluctuate, and blood clots form unchecked together. These create a silent storm in the brain. The good news is this risk can be understood and adjusted. Once we know exactly what the brain truly needs, what to avoid, and how to nourish it the right way, the danger drops dramatically. In the next part, we'll uncover what really keeps your brain sharp and clear, and expose the hidden culprits that leave you tired, foggy, or even vulnerable to a sudden stroke in the night. If the body were a city, the brain would be City Hall, the command center, where every decision is made and order is maintained. But no matter how smart that City Hall may be, it still needs a steady stream of electricity to stay lit. For the brain, that electricity is energy. Here's what most people don't realize. Even though the brain makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it consumes nearly 20% of the energy you take in every day. When that energy flow becomes unstable, you start to feel tired, unfocused, as if your memory is covered by a fog. And if this continues long enough, it's not just slow thinking anymore. It becomes fertile ground for serious conditions ranging from depression to neurodegeneration. Pay attention to the familiar warning signs. You're in the middle of a task when suddenly your mind goes blank, unable to recall what you were about to do. Or you're having a conversation, and the words stumble out awkwardly, as though your brain can't keep up. That's not laziness. It's your brain running low on fuel. And often, the problem isn't that you're not eating enough. It's that your brain can't properly process the fuel you're giving it. The body has 3 main currencies it can use to pay the brain: carbohydrates, glucose, fats, and ketones, a special form of energy produced when burning fat. In healthy younger people, switching between these fuels is seamless. But as we age, or when our diets are heavy in refined carbs and light on activity, that flexibility fades. Many people become almost addicted to glucose, alert only after eating, sluggish when hungry. The brain ends up waiting for constant food deliveries, and without them, it struggles. This is the root of the brain fog so many older adults describe. The bigger danger comes when insulin resistance develops. In that state, glucose, the brain's main fuel, can't get into brain cells. It's like having a house full of firewood, but no match to light it. Scientists call this phenomenon type 3 diabetes, and it's strongly linked to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So what's the solution? It's not about eating more and more to force-feed the brain. The key is stability. Meals rich in healthy fats like fatty fish, avocado, or natural nuts nourish brain cells and encourage ketone production, providing fuel that bypasses the need for insulin. On the flip side, sugar-laden meals, pastries, and sodas only create a quick rush of energy, followed by an inevitable crash, leaving your brain exhausted. Timing matters too. Eating a heavy meal right before bed spikes insulin, disrupts sleep, and leaves your brain groggy in the morning. In contrast, a lighter dinner, rich in vegetables and moderate protein, provides clean fuel for the brain to repair itself overnight. Of course, there's no one-size-fits-all formula. Seniors with diabetes or heart conditions should always consult their doctor before making dietary changes. But one principle holds true for everyone. Aim for balance, not excess. The brain thrives on steady fuel, the way a lamp needs a stable current, not erratic bursts that flare and die out. And here's the simplest advice. Don't wait until you're starving to eat, and don't overload yourself until you're sluggish. Feed your brain with steady, quality fuel, and you'll notice the difference: clearer thinking, sharper memory, and the fog lifting away like morning mist. This is the first secret. Stable energy is the universal currency that keeps the brain running smoothly. But energy alone isn't enough. In the next part, we'll uncover the silent fire that erodes memory and clarity. That hidden force is inflammation. If energy is like the electricity that powers the brain, then inflammation is the hidden fire that can quietly burn through its most delicate wiring. Inflammation isn't always bad. It's the body's natural defense against intruders. But when that fire burns too long, it stops being a shield and instead becomes a threat to your brain itself. You've probably felt this before. During a bad flu, your body feels weak, your head foggy, your memory dulled. That's your immune system lighting a fire to fight off the virus. The problem is, for many people, that fire doesn't fully go out once the illness is gone. It keeps smoldering, creating a state of chronic inflammation that leaves the brain trapped in a permanent haze. One of the biggest culprits lies in the gut. When the gut lining weakens, a condition often called leaky gut, tiny food particles and toxins slip into the bloodstream. The immune system treats them like invaders, sounding the alarm. Soon, that fire spreads everywhere, including the brain. Scientists call this leaky brain a breakdown in the brain's protective barrier that allows harmful molecules to directly attack neurons. When the brain is inflamed, thinking clearly becomes almost impossible. It's like trying to function in a room filled with smoke. Nerve signals become distorted, memory weakens, moods swing unpredictably. Even worse, chronic inflammation has been strongly linked to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other forms of dementia. Think back to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many patients recovered, their lungs healed, yet they continued to complain of brain fog, sluggish thinking, constant fatigue. New research shows the virus can leave behind abnormal proteins that overstimulate the immune system, sparking long-term neuroinflammation. That's why millions now live with long COVID symptoms. So what can we do to cool this fire? There's no magic switch, but there are natural ways to lower brain inflammation daily. An anti-inflammatory diet rich in fatty fish, leafy greens, berries, and turmeric provides omega-3s and polyphenols, like tiny water hoses sprinkling down on the flames. Deep sleep is another essential, as it's the time when the body repairs itself and quiets inflammatory signals. Gentle movement like walking, yoga, or light cycling not only strengthens muscles, but also fine-tunes the immune system. Of course, if you have conditions like autoimmune disease, diabetes, or are recovering from a serious infection, you should always consult your doctor before making dietary changes or adding supplements. Some natural enzymes like lumbrokinase and serrapeptase are being studied for their ability to break down leftover proteins after infections and help reduce neuroinflammation. But these are not do-it-yourself remedies. They require medical guidance. The key is to understand this. Inflammation is like a kitchen fire, necessary to cook your food, but if left unchecked, it can spread and burn down the whole house. Keeping that flame steady, not too small, not out of control, is the secret to preserving mental clarity and sharpness. And once your brain has steady energy, and the silent fire of inflammation is under control, there's still another hidden enemy to face. Signal disruption. That's when the brain's electrical wiring misfires, sending the wrong messages and making the whole system flicker. In the next part, we'll dive into that. If energy is the electricity that lights up the brain, and inflammation is the hidden fire that eats away at it, then signals are the very language neurons use to understand and coordinate with one another. Every second, billions of messages travel through the brain, fast, precise, like a perfectly tuned orchestra. But when signals get distorted, even one wrong note can turn the entire symphony into chaos. Have you ever lain in bed, trying to fall asleep, but your mind just kept spinning like a radio stuck between stations? Or after hours glued to your phone, felt exhausted, head aching, unable to focus? Those are moments when your brain's signals are out of tune. Invisible waves with real power. For millions of years, humans synced naturally with the Earth's electromagnetic field at a frequency of 7.8 Hz, known as the Schumann frequency. But in the last few decades, we've blanketed the planet with artificial frequencies, radio waves, Wi-Fi, 4G, 5G, billions of times stronger. The body doesn't collapse immediately, but these signals disrupt the delicate communication between neurons. To push through the electromagnetic noise, the brain burns more energy, like a person shouting, just to be heard in a noisy room. It's no surprise so many people feel restless, foggy, or unable to sleep after long hours in front of a screen. Some with fragile health are even so sensitive they get headaches or nausea just being near electronic devices. Whether or not you notice it, your body still pays the price with silent fatigue. When the body clock falls out of sync, the brain doesn't just receive signals from outside, it keeps its own rhythm, known as the circadian clock. In the brain, a special cluster of cells acts as the master clock, telling you when it's day, when it's night. When that clock runs on time, you sleep deeply at night and stay alert during the day. But when it's out of sync, like working night shifts or flying across time zones, your brain struggles. You might sleep a full 8 hours in the daytime, but still wake up groggy and heavy-headed. Not because you didn't sleep enough, but because your brain isn't aligned with the environment. It's like a musician playing offbeat, throwing the whole orchestra off rhythm. Over time, this doesn't just cause brain fog, it raises your risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, even stroke. When toxins hijack the signals beyond waves and rhythms, there are more dangerous intruders. Toxins, heavy metals, pesticides, and industrial chemicals can cling to the very sockets meant for natural brain signals. When that happens, messages either fail to transmit or get amplified the wrong way. The brain ends up like a faulty circuit board, sometimes not firing at all, other times firing too much. Even medications can cause interference. Antidepressants, for example, adjust brain chemicals to ease symptoms, but they also force the nervous system to spend more energy compensating. For some people, meds bring relief. For others, they add yet another layer of brain fog. So how do we fix the wiring? First, give your brain quiet time. Reduce screen use before bed, turn off Wi-Fi at night, or simply walk outside. These small acts are like turning down the volume in a noisy room, giving the brain space to recover. Second, keep your body clock steady. Go to bed and wake up at the same times, even on weekends, so your circadian rhythm stays aligned. If you must work nights, sleep in total darkness during the day and get natural light exposure when awake to reset your clock. Finally, support the body's natural detox. Drink enough water, eat leafy greens, and avoid unnecessary medications. When your wiring is clear, your brain can finally play its symphony of clarity again. Signal disruption is a silent enemy. It doesn't strike with sharp pain, but slowly robs you of clarity. And when combined with unstable energy and chronic inflammation, it forms a destructive trio that drives you deep into brain fog. In the next section, we'll put all the pieces together to reveal the full picture: how to nourish the brain, restore clarity, and most importantly, reclaim a full, vibrant life. After walking through the three pieces, energy, inflammation, and signaling, we can now see the picture more clearly. Brain fog is not some mysterious, vague condition. It's simply the brain's way of warning you that something is missing, or that it's carrying too heavy a burden. The destructive trio and how to break free. When energy runs low, the brain is like a house with flickering power, lights going on and off, unable to run smoothly. When inflammation smolders, it's as if the brain is filled with smoke, dulling every signal, no matter how strong. And when signals get distorted, the orchestra of neurons loses its rhythm, turning harmony into chaos. Together, this destructive trio creates what so many describe with one heavy word: fog. The good news is you don't need some miracle pill. Step by step, you can clear the mist simply by restoring what your body already knows it needs. Eat fresh, nutrient-rich foods, instead of relying on artificial supplements. Move your body daily so your muscles and brain both receive the message. Rebuild. Get enough sleep, giving your brain the chance to repair itself. And above all, don't let your life be swallowed by constant stress. A positive outlook, the body's power to heal. Picture a different morning. You wake up without that heavy head or lingering fatigue. Sunlight filters through the curtains, and instead of dragging yourself out of bed, your mind feels sharp, ready for the day. That evening, you sit down to read to your grandchild, your voice steady, your hand strong as you turn each page, your eyes clear and bright. That's not a miracle, that's simply your body doing what it was designed to do. Recover, as long as you give it the right conditions. Modern science shows that much of what we blame on aging is really underuse. Muscle loss, fading memory, dwindling energy, these can all be slowed down, even reversed, if we stimulate the body in the right ways. Use it or lose it isn't just a saying, it's biology. Keep using and nourishing your brain, and it will serve you faithfully for a lifetime. A simple reminder. If you've ever worried about memory slips or felt uneasy when your mind seemed clouded, remember this. You're not alone. Millions of people go through the same thing, and many have regained clarity with small, steady changes. The brain doesn't demand complicated fixes. It asks for consistent care, like a garden that simply needs water and light every day. So don't wait until brain fog turns into a storm. Start now, eat a cleaner meal, walk a little farther, switch off the screen earlier, sink into a deeper sleep. These little steps, repeated day after day, are the most powerful medicine you'll ever give yourself. And if you truly want to take charge of your health, stay connected to messages like this. Because understanding how your body works doesn't just free you from brain fog. It opens the door to a life that's clearer, sharper, and more energized at any age.